It's a survey by the Cultureel Planbureau, which I guess translates as the Cultural Planning Office. I don't know what their official translation for it is. They've probably got one. They've been questioning a bunch of kids in school between the ages of 11 and 16. And it turns out lesbian, gay and bisexual kids, and they haven't looked at transsexual or queer kids, but basically they're saying LGB kids are unhappier way more often than their straight counterparts. So as I say, they talked to a bunch of kids in school, aged between 11 and 16, all of different sexual orientations, already declaring it. And interestingly, it's like you might think, hang on a second, how can a kid age 11 know that already? I was already kind of working it out by that age. Certainly by the time I got to 13, I knew where I stood on the whole matter, and I'd stuck a label on myself, although I wasn't telling anyone else the label at the time. But I kind of knew what was going on already around about the age of 13, 14, certainly, 13. Actually, yes, I remember. 13, last year of middle school, I became aware of it. Anyway, a third of LGB kids say they feel unhappy at least once a week. Now, that's actually up to 3 times more often than their straight mates. It's been revealed also that 43% of the group of kids, anyway, that they'd interviewed, that group, had some kind of psychological problem needing attention. It may have been very mild, it may have been a lot more complicated, but there was something going on with each of them. And that they said that the problem, part of the problem and part of the reason for their depression, for their sadness during these times, was that they just felt that they couldn't really discuss anything with the parents because that was their biggest fear. And you kind of think, it's 2021, this is the Netherlands, and this is still a fear that kids have growing up. Now, mums and dads, I will actually ask you, just think about what you're saying to your children. If you've got a kid who says it's a boy, so let's go with the traditional route for a second, just for the sake of this conversation. If you've got a boy or a girl, doesn't really matter, don't ask them the usual question, have you got a girlfriend yet? To the boys. Have you got a girlfriend? Have you got a girlfriend? And it can go on a long time. It can go on right the way through university. And all that time, it's putting a little bit of pressure on the kids to be straight. You're not saying you have to be, I realise that, and the mums and dads who are asking it probably these days don't care that much themselves, to be quite honest. They're probably not that put out by it, and certainly a lot less so than the children are probably thinking. But every time you say, have you got a girlfriend yet? To your son, or have you got a boyfriend yet? To your daughter, every time you ask that question, you're just drilling home what they think you expect to be the norm. And it's very important, and I say that, I'm getting quite emotional about it, because I know we've got a listener listening in England, and her mum played a very important part in my own coming out, because I remember we were all sitting there, it was one day when I was home from university, for a Christmas holiday, I believe it was, and we were sitting in their house. They just moved, so we went along to see their new home, and my mum had said something about, oh, Chris hasn't got a girlfriend yet. No, I don't. Have you got a girlfriend yet? That kind of thing. And Joan said, or a boyfriend, we don't mind. And for the first time, that was someone from the local area who made me realise that not everyone cared, that maybe it wouldn't be all that bad. And it was extremely important to me. And I'm going to play a tune now. Otherwise, I'm going to start crying. So thank you, Joan, for that. Much appreciated.